Bird by Bird. You are listening to The Competitor's Brain. This is episode number 24, and I am Lauren Fox. And there's a great book, and I'm not expecting that anybody who's listening to this has read it, although I'll be pleasantly surprised if anybody has, by a writer named Anne Lamott. And it's a really little book, and it's really easy to read. And as I'm looking at my version of it, I think I have about, 40 tabs sticking out of it. So there's a lot of wisdom packed into this little tiny book. But the name of the book is derived from a story that Anne Lamott tells about her brother working on a project when they were kids. And so I'll quote her directly. 30 years ago, my older brother, who was 10 years old at the time, was trying to get a report written on birds that he'd had 3 months to write, which was due the next day. We were out at our family cabin in Bolinas, and he was at the kitchen table, close to tears, surrounded by binder paper and pencils and unopened books about birds, immobilized by the hugeness of the task ahead. Then my father sat down behind him and put his arm around my brother's shoulder and said, "Bird by bird, buddy. Just take it bird by bird." That applies to just about anything else that you can do in life, where you look at it and you say, this task is insanely complicated, or it's too big for me to do, or I just don't know how I'm going to get all that done. And realistically, what you have to do is the next thing that's going to get you closer to the goal. So in the case of her brother, the goal was writing the paper about birds or finishing the bird project. The only way he was going to get it done was by dealing with one bird at a time. Same thing goes if you're talking about increasing your bench press. What are you going to do? Well, you got to get out there and do it. And you realize that, you're going to have setbacks, but you're not going to just get up there and bench press 2 1/4 immediately. It's the kind of thing that you're going to have to work up to. And it's going to be a lot of little things that are ultimately going to make the one big thing. Goes with anything. Nobody came out of the womb or in Little League throwing 100 miles an hour. And nobody is born as a great free throw shooter. There are a lot of people who have the ability to do that stuff innately more so than others. But realistically, improvement in anything is made up of a variety of really small things that become the bigger things. And so we phrased it a lot as do a little a lot, not a lot a little. And that's valid. You want to do a little a lot. But what you really need to consider is that no matter how overwhelming that next task might seem to be, or the big task might be, there's always going to be a part that you can break it down into smaller parts and figure out what thing can I do to give myself momentum. What small win might I be able to give myself so that I can then start stacking wins and get closer to what my ultimate goal actually is? So all I can say for you is take it bird by bird.